We want to item 8 in the agenda, which is the Wellbeing Hub and Lochie School project update. Robbie will take us through that.
Thank you, Convener, and good afternoon, councillors. I'm pleased to present this paper, which provides an update on the Wellbeing Hub and Lochie School project. The report provides a further update on the planning process. Initial feedback and comments were received from the Planning Authority in early September, requesting further information and clarification on certain matters, primarily relating to the Town Centre First assessment and transport assessment. The project team have been in regular dialogue with the Planning Authority and the Roads and Transport team and have provided a range of supplementary information to address each comment. Following the submission of additional information and documents, a further publicity period commenced from the 30th of October to the 20th of November to allow further public comments to be submitted on the application. The neighbourhood consultation period was open for a total of 61 days. A further response to support the planning application was submitted following the most recent publicity period. The Planning Authority should now have all the information they require to complete their planning report. The project remains on track and we're aiming for the application to be considered by the Planning Committee early in the new year. In parallel, a number of key preparatory tasks have taken place to ensure the project remains on programme. This includes the compilation of the design, programme and costs, as well as the associated commercial and legal documents, including the design and build development agreement. The driver behind these preparations is to ensure that once all necessary permissions and approvals are in place, construction works can commence immediately thereafter. In addition, the Hub Stage 2, or REBA Stage 4, technical design has continued, and a series of design validation workshops have been undertaken with stakeholders across the Council. Further detail on the construction programme and contract will be brought forward at a future Council meeting. I'm happy to take any questions on the report.
Okay, thanks, Robbie. Do we have any questions? Councillor Coyne?
Thanks, Convener. Robbie, 3.4, the Meet the Buyer event. Dodging planning issues here. The Meet the Buyer event was quite well attended, and it's 100 local small to medium SMEs were there. Will there be data for the uptake from that side of things? How many of them actually apply to supply to the contract and actually are successful? Because that would be interesting to know whether the local business community that have now felt suitably equipped, to handle this kind of thing, just to know what the skill level was and the success level would be. Because if only a handful of them get it, then there's obviously a mismatch somewhere along the line, and that might inform decision making and things like that in the future about small businesses. So I don't know, will you gather data on that? Can you gather, or can I request that later at some stage?
Thanks for the question, Councillor Grant. That's a really good suggestion. If we haven't already decided to do that, that's certainly something we can ask for. Hubcore obviously managing the project on our behalf, so that's a request we can put to them to gather the number of those businesses that came to those events and local businesses, and that will also be part of the report in terms of how they're meeting the TOMs on the project anyway. They have to show that they have obviously put in a percentage of local businesses and suppliers that will be used. They need to be able to prove that. So there'll be an element of that will come out through that process anyway. However, we can request that detail to be added to it, and I think it'll be a worthwhile exercise, as you've said.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, thanks, Robbie. Councillor Harrison to read the paper.
Yeah, thanks, Convener. I'll keep this relatively short. Welcome the update on the Wellbeing Hub and Lochie's project. As we are all aware, the planning process has been delayed due to additional information that was requested by the Planning Authority. As Robbie's just mentioned, this information has been passed on, and we expect the planning application to be heard hopefully at the January planning meeting. The delay hasn't stopped work continuing on the project, though. Design, contract, financial work streams have continued to allow the project to commence as quickly as possible as and when planning is granted. I'm also really pleased to see how successful the Meet the Buyer event was, with more than 100 SMEs attending. A really good suggestion from Dennis there actually is to track how successful that 100 plus attendees is, to what that brings forward for businesses in the area. but it does kind of emphasise the benefits of the project to the local area, not only of when the project will be completed, but hopefully as the project is working through its next stages, and we can realise benefits as well. So happy to move the paper.
Thank you. Councillor Lindsay to second.
Yeah, just happy to formally second, really, just to add that I'm grateful the planning information is now available, and hopefully that can progress through the early part of next year to keep the project on track. But nothing further to add, really, so happy to second. Thanks.
Okay. The paper's now open for debate. Anybody wish to debate the paper any further? No? You happy to approve? Okay. To the last item on the agenda for today, which is the Housing Service and Social Behaviour Policy, and Murray will take us through that next month.
Thanks, Chair, and good afternoon, Council. Yes, this report, as the Chair has just indicated there, is the Housing Service Anti-Social Behaviour Policy, which is presented to Council today. Clearly, as indicated in the report, we had notified the Housing Regulator about the Council's approach to antisocial behaviour in terms of failing to meet that requirement. And obviously, as we've seen in October Council, our colleagues from the People Service took forward the work in terms of the strategy which was approved at October Council. And obviously, following on from that, we've now been able to conclude the work relating to our policy, which is now presented here today for conclusion to that work. We've already made the Scottish Housing Regulator aware that this policy has been presented, and we'd already, by the stage of the annual submission this year, had removed it as a concern from the organisation. Obviously, the paper is presented here today, and happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Murray. Do you have any questions? No? Thank you. Councillor McTaggart to move the paper.
Thanks, Convener. As Council is aware, our antisocial behaviour policy was outdated and has taken quite some time to develop the proposed new policy that is before you today. I must thank Monica for the extensive work she has done on this and her input into the strategy, and I extend my thanks to those who have assisted in those processes. We all know that antisocial behaviour is an emotive subject and affects people in different ways. We also know that there is a wide-ranging confusion around who's responsible for dealing with any alleged antisocial behaviour. This policy makes clear the elements of antisocial behaviour that fall under the locus of Clackmannanshire Council and separates that out from the responsibilities of Police Scotland, other registered social landlords, private landlords, etc., offering a clearer picture of what the Council can do under the powers held by us. Antisocial behaviour in its various forms can blight lives. Everyone around this chamber has dealt with it in one way or another. We have all sympathised and understood the difficulties victims face and want to help in any way we can. But not every case of antisocial behaviour can be influenced, addressed or solved by the Council, and it's important that we're able to clarify where our responsibilities lie. It's also important to be able to identify when it's not a Council matter, so that we can signpost the victim in the appropriate direction to get the help they need. While our antisocial behaviour policy has been out of date, the substance and essence of the policy has been in use by councillors and council staff for some time. So I'm happy to be formalising that today and bringing this paper to you for approval. Happy to propose the paper, Convener.
Thank you. Councillor Moore to second.
Not to sound like a broken record, because I think I've said this the last few council meetings when I've seconded the housing papers, that I think it's really important that this paper comes forward and that we know that there is a policy, because I know that when first coming in as a councillor, and like all of you, you know, you've had to deal with tenants who have suffered from antisocial behaviour. So I think it is really important that it's laid out so that it can aid us when we're aiding our constituents, so we know that the policy is getting followed when they ask, and then if it falls out with, as as Councillor McTaggart has said, that we can signpost our constituents and make sure that they get the help that they need. Happy to second.
Thank you. Papers now open for debate. Anybody wish to debate papers? No. So on that basis, we're happy to approve. Okay, thank you. That's the end of today's agenda. Just before we close the meeting, should note the fact that it's David Williams' last day tomorrow as the interim Chief Officer for the IJB and the Health and Social Care Partnership. The time that David's been with us has been an incredibly difficult and challenging period he's been having to deal with now, so I want to wish him all the very best and thank him for his contribution in that time. His successor starts on the 16th of December, coming into a bit of this challenging and difficult an environment, so wish him all the very best in the new role as well. Thank you to everybody for their contribution today and to the officers for their papers and preparation for the meeting. Thank you.
Chair, can I say a few words as promised? If we were not ready,
Of course, yeah.
I would be wishing staff and elected members a happy Thanksgiving. However, this is our last full council meeting before Christmas, so I'd like to wish you all a good St Andrew's Day and Christmas when it comes. And we thank you all for your contributions to the Love in a Box initiative from staff that are supporting local children locally. If you want to participate further on the 9th, 10th and 11th of December up on the 5th floor between 12 and 2, they're having a wrapping session and all members of staff and elected members are invited to participate in that if you choose to. There may be a big queue, I don't know, but the offer's there, and thanks again to both our staff and elected members for supporting the Love in a Box charity in this festive time. So have a good Christmas when it comes. Thank you.